I'm using the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Primer to smooth out my skin before taking on the makeup. And next up, I'm going in with the L'Oreal Infallable Pro Matte Foundation in the shade Fresh Beige, which is lighter than my normal shade. It's got great coverage, which is what I need for this look. And I apply that with my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, and then I go in with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Foundation in the shade Vanilla, sort of like a highlight. Yeah, it really doesn't matter what brand you use for this look, just kind of wanted to give you an idea. But the one I'm using right now has really great coverage and just brightens everything up. So lots under my eyes, along my jawline, my chin, that's really important, and also on my forehead. I blend that out nicely, but that area around my chin, I try to focus on that section, keeping in mind that I'll be adding color to the outlines of the puppet's moving mouth. Now I'm going in with the translucent setting powder to set everything in place, focusing on the areas where I'm super pale. I want to make sure that that stays bright. All right, so now we're going to start carving out some of the lines. I'm using the NYX Wonder Stick to draw out more prominent cheeks. I sort of follow the lines along the bottom of the apples of my cheeks, and then I just bring that up along the cheekbone line. I also take it along my temples, along my forehead, and down my jawline, and of course, lightly where the lines of my puppet mouth would be. Then I take the makeup sponge and just buff all that out. Now I'm going in with this contour and highlight palette. It's by Guiza. I just love how pigmented this kit is, so I thought it would be perfect for this look. I take the contour brown color and buff that along the lines that I drew. Then I go in with a dark brown, almost black eyeshadow color, and with a thinner brush, I draw out a thinner line along the cheeks to define that cheek a little more, and then I just buff that all out to make it as smooth as possible. I put some primer on my lids, and while I let the primer settle a little bit, I move up to my eyebrows. Bold, chica, bold. So I used an angled brow brush and some black eyeshadow from the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette. I think I've got pretty good brows already, so I just fill those in and then slightly overline along the tops and bottoms of the brows. If you've got thinner eyebrows, then girl, you want to over exaggerate because we want these to look super puppet-like. Now onto the eyeshadow. I'm starting off with a dark brown shadow and just drawing a half circle right over my crease. I'm trying to make my eyes appear a little more round. If I went along my actual crease, it would look more almondy, and I don't want that. Dolls and puppets have rounder eyes. And it doesn't have to be perfect right away because we're gonna blend it out later. So now with a lighter brown shade, I go over that same line, this time with a fluffy brush to, like I said, blend it out. I took a black liquid liner and traced along the bottom of that new line that we just fluffed out. Again, don't worry if it isn't perfect because with some black shadow, we're gonna blend that out. Try blending upwards, not downwards, because we want to make the eyes look puppet-like. You know, like when you open them and the lids go into the eye socket. I don't know how to explain it. You'll see. Now I'm taking the Benefit brow pencil to highlight right on my brow bone. And with some white eyeshadow, I brighten that up a bit. And now with some cream colored shadow, I start to pack that on the lid. And I'm not an expert on cut creases, so I just packed heavily on the lid, but I try to keep it under that crease line. Now this next part is completely optional for those of you who don't do wings. I'm not gonna lie, I was freaking out because I don't think I've ever done a successful wing on both sides yet, but what the heck, it's Halloween. Still not perfect, but it'll do. I threw on some mascara and then it was on to the bottom lid. So I used the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil or Eye Crayon in white. I drew that along the lower waterline and went pretty heavy with that. And then with some black shadow, I traced underneath the white with a thin brush. And then with a fluffy brush, I just went back over that black line with some more dark brown shadow to buff that out. Now onto some blush. I used the NYX Ombre blush, I think is what it is, because it was probably the brightest pink I could find, and I just dabbed that on the apples of my cheeks. And I brought that up just a smidge, but focusing on the apples. And in the spirit of Halloween, lashes. Don't ask me what kind of lashes these are. All I know is that they're from Ardell. I don't know lashes, y'all. I was just praying I wouldn't get glue in my eyes, but I think I did okay. What do you think? Yeah? No? I don't know. I think it turned out all right. Okay. Almost done. Now onto the mouth. I took some of that dark brown contour color from the Guiza palette, and then with a thin brush, I drew out the lines of my puppet mouth. So a little bit out and away from your lips and down till you get to your jaw. Then I went in with a lighter brown and sort of contoured, I guess. I just started to blend out the inner edges of those lines, and then with a black liner, I traced over the line, focusing on the outside edges more. I took some black and brown shadow to trace over that line so it wasn't so harsh. I always see puppets with red lips, so what I did was I lined mine with a good nude color. I used MAC's Whirl Liner. You probably didn't have to do this step, but it's just a habit for me. And then I went with a bright red matte lip. This one is by Milani. Then I lined my lips with some sort of black and brown shadow, kind of buffing it out just a little, and even took some of that to draw some faded lines on my lips. And then I took some of that brow pencil and traced along the puppet mouth lines along the outside of it to give it some dimension. And because that wasn't bright enough for me, I used some white shadow to go over that. You see me brushing my nose a bit here because I tried to contour and it didn't go as planned. So we're just gonna move on to the next step, the wood. So puppets are made of wood. So to give the face the wood grain effect, we're going to draw some lines. So I took my angled liner brush and alternated between a dark brown and a regular lighter brown eyeshadow shade. And then I drew lines of different lengths all down my face. It helps if you use just the side of the brush rather than straight on, so you get much thinner lines. And then your look is complete. You could probably set your face with some setting spray. I like Urban Decay's All Nighter, but honestly, I took this off right after I was done, so there was no need to waste. On to the hair. I wanted to leave my curls out, so the only thing I could think of were pigtails. So I split my hair in 2 sections and twisted from the top of each section till I got to right behind my ear, and I tied that with a hair tie. I did the same with the other side, and voila. What do you think, y'all? I'm no makeup expert, but I've been watching a ton of doll and ventriloquist makeup tutorials, but I think this turned out pretty cool for a beginner, so if I could do it, you could do it, I promise. I just wanted to give you an idea for a Halloween look, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and check out my fall playlist right here off to the side, where I've also got some other Halloween ideas. Or if you just want hair stuff, I've got a playlist on everything related to curly hair. I love y'all, un besito, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.